But, of course, the big story of the moment is what the President of the United States had to say over the weekend. And I want to share my thoughts with you on this from a couple of different perspectives. But first, his announcement. Louise and I were home and watching TV live as the president was giving his speech. And he went through all his rationalizations for why we have to send bombs to blow things up in Syria. Which, you've heard me many times quote Abraham Maslow, the famous psychologist back in the 70s, who said, when the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. And, of course, all the guys who sit around with the president in the White House to come up with solutions to the world's problems, not all of them, but the vast majority of them, are guys whose hammer is Tomahawk missiles and cruise missiles and bombers and things like that. So we've got a problem in Syria. Well, Syria has a problem. And he's going through his whole rationalization for it. And I was getting more and more concerned. Because I did not hear one word coming from the president about Syria having attacked the United States, Syria threatening to attack the United States, Syria threatening to attack a country with whom we had a binding treaty that required us to help them if they were attacked. I didn't hear any of that. I didn't hear Syria represented. I mean, at least George Bush, lied to us that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction that he was going to set off in New York City or something. And at least Condoleezza Rice went on TV and lied by implying that al-Qaeda was somehow in Iraq, which they weren't. I mean, Saddam Hussein hated al-Qaeda. He saw them as competitors. The fact of the matter is al-Qaeda is alive and well in Syria right now. But if we send a missile over there, we'll be doing it on their behalf, or at least we'll be helping them out. We will not be lobbing missiles at al-Qaeda. We'll be lobbing missiles at the people that al-Qaeda is fighting against right now. Bashar al-Assad, his government. So anyhow, I'm watching this, and then the president says this. Here it goes.
Having made my decision as commander-in-chief based on what I am convinced is our national security interests, I'm also mindful that I'm the president of the world's oldest constitutional democracy. I've long believed that our power is rooted not just in our military might, but in our example as a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that's why I've made a second decision. I will seek authorization for the use of force from the American people's representatives in Congress.
There you go. And this is, this is, I'm looking for the where Congress can declare war in the Constitution. Anyhow, it's as you, oh, here we are. Article 1, Section 8, subsection, 6? No, that's punishing counterfeiters. Anyway, it's in Article 1. And, he's right. He had made this red line in the sand or red line comment about chemical weapons. And yes, we are signatories to a UN treaty that says that we will not use chemical weapons and that says that any country that does has committed an international crime. But I'm quite sure, I confess, I have not read the entire treaty. But what I do know is if there was even one sentence in it that said that the United States is supposed to enforce this on behalf of the United Nations if any nation violates it, it would have been played on the news over and over and over again, right? So I'm quite sure that there is nothing in the UN Weapons of Mass Destruction Poison Gas Treaty, which goes back And it's not just that, the UN treaty. I mean, there are international treaties and all kinds of stuff. It goes back to World War I. It was the horrors of World War I. There's nothing in there that says that we are the cops of the world. It's the job of the United States to enforce the law of the world when some country in the world breaks the law. It's sort of like, the state police in Maryland deciding to go into Virginia and arrest some guy shoplifting because he broke the laws of Virginia. Or maybe a better metaphor, the state police in Maryland deciding to go into Virginia to arrest some guy because he broke a federal law, because he was counterfeiting, say. I mean, it doesn't make any sense in my mind. I don't see where our security interests are involved, and I don't see why it is our responsibility to do what the United Nations is supposed to do. I got a real problem with this. I also want to talk to you about maps and oil and pipelines, and I'll do that right after this.